Hi everybody, how are we all this evening? If you're about, let me know via the chat. I have got chat up so I can hear you. Hopefully you can hear and see me okay. Like I say, if you're about, let me know via chat. I'll give it a couple of seconds for everybody to pop in. I am a little bit late. There is a reason. So hopefully I'll start seeing you lovely ladies appearing in chat. I've got everything ready. So tonight I'm actually going to be doing the sewing machine cover part 2. And yeah, I'm really excited to do it. Let me just... Hopefully I can see 2 of you lovely ladies that are appearing. Like I say, if you're about, let me know via chat. I'm making this sewing machine cover part 2. And tonight there is a bit of a surprise. Just a tad, just a little bit of a surprise. Good evening, Miss Paisley. How are we this evening? I was late, can't be late. I was a little bit late coming on. I had organised everything, but I had one little, like I say, there is a little bit of a surprise, which I'll tell everybody in a second. But our surprises. Hiya, Pauline, sweetheart. Hi, everybody. I hope everybody's having a really good start to the weekend. This year's going so fast. We're in July already. This year's going so fast. As you can see, I am doing the sewing machine cover part 2 tonight. But like I said, there is a bit of a surprise. I have sewn this, which is what I made last week. I've sewn it now onto the chosen fabric, and I've got some pockets, but I haven't sewn them all. You did see me sort of make the strip last week. I am good. We have needed a canoe here to go. We need a we needed a canoe here to go out. Oh, right. I think I get that because, you know, all the house been upside down. I'll give it a few seconds for everybody to join us. Hopefully, anybody won't be too long. So, last year, this is a bit of a surprise. Last year, I hosted a challenge where everybody had to, well, I didn't say where everybody, it was everybody's choice, but the challenge was to make something I could wear on my lives. Now, I was going through my room, and I came across the box of what everybody had made me, and I thought, what are they doing in the box? So I'm going to start wearing what everybody made me, and the idea is if you spot your own creation on my hand or my wrist, then you'll have a lovely surprise from me. So I've literally just picked something out of the box and I'm going with it. So hopefully the lady that I'm wearing tonight will come in. If she doesn't, then it sort of gets added to the next person, whoever that may be. So each week or a couple of weeks, I'll be wearing one of the bangles, because it's a shame that they're all in a box and they're not doing anything. And I love seeing your creations. So I'm going to start wearing them on my lives. Woohoo! Because I never put a date on the winner, and I never actually said this is when, you know, this is when it ends. I said I would wear them through my lives. So the piece I'm wearing today is a bracelet, and it's got a loop for a ring, and it's all been crocheted, and there's a button on the back, flowers, some beads. It's absolutely stunning. And there is, let me take it off and I can show you then. I think that's either Jesus or Mother of Mary in the centre. I think that's it. Good evening, Deborah, sweetheart. The rain's been awful. We've had fog. We went shopping today for food, and on my days I'd never go shopping again in fog. It was awful. Wow, I love this. Yeah, well, you'll be seeing me wear many more bracelets because I had lots of people enter. It was a fantastic challenge. And like I say, it's just a shame that I'm not wearing them. So I've decided that I'm going to start wearing them. And if you see your creation, then you get to win a handful of goodies off myself. So yes. I know who's made this, and if the lady hasn't come in, then I will announce it at the end of the live. Good evening, Debbie. But you've got to see your creation in the live. You've got to be in the live to see it. If you're watching this on catch up, then it won't count because you've got to see it on me on my wrist. Hi, Debbie. How are we this evening? It is a beautiful bracelet. I couldn't agree with you more, Deborah. It's absolutely stunning. And I'm totally in love with it. So let's get cracking. So last week, I left you all with my sewing machine cover. We created a machine sort of out of like different fabrics, laces, and I've actually now sewn this onto my chosen fabric. And then if I flip him over, you saw me make this where I had sort of two sets of fabric, and then I've done a stitch dead in the center. So there's one pocket there, and there's going to be one either or, so there'll be 3 pockets altogether. So for the lining for this, now I could have just gone sort of one piece of fabric for the lining, but I didn't want to. The 2 reasons being is when I cut the whole piece, I was short, and I thought, oh, and I didn't have any more fabric to sort of add it on. So what I've done instead of is I've got the same fabric. I'm going to have to find obviously the middle. I've marked the middle, which is here, and wait a second, here and here. And then I've got plain pink, 2 pieces to go each side, and that is going to be my lining for the inside. So let's sew this together. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take one lining. Let me just get rid of this a second. It gets confusing after a while. One piece of lining. Now there is a right and a wrong way to this, so I've sort of got to know which is the right and the wrong way. So that is the right way. So right side to right side, read. And we're going to go down the edge, and I'm going to sew it. I want it quite close, only because I didn't leave myself a seam allowance when I cut the middle piece out. Good evening, Fiona, sweetheart. How are we this evening? Hope you're having a lovely weekend. I'm going to sew 3/8 of an inch to sew these 2 pieces together, and then we'll go from there. Right, so not only am I doing this tonight, hopefully you can see my machine. Not only am I doing this tonight, but I have got something else up my sleeve that I'm going to be creating as well to go with the machine cover. So let's create it. Now on my machine, I've got some lines. With every machine you sort of get lines, and mine goes 3 of an eighth, 4 of an eighth, 1/5, 2 and 6/8. So sometimes you can sort of navigate it to be like a quarter, half and all that. So straight stitch all the way down. I'm going to make sure I go back upon those stitches, and then I'm going to make sure I'm going to put my fabric up against the line. Now there is a tip which I'm going to do in a second. to keeping your fabric perfectly straight. Okay, I'm going to move this over. I'm going to get my little tip out. If I've got it next to me, if I haven't, then I'll move over. Okay. Near enough the end. Make sure you go back on those stitches and cut. Now the little tip is then you can use any tape for this. You can use sellotape, frog tape, anything, tacky tape, whatever you want to use. Because I'm going by what's on my machine, take the tape and put it up against where you want to sew. So for me, I'm going to sew there. That's going to be my guiding line. So my fabric needs to go on this line. A little tip for you. Sometimes I have the tape here so I can just pull it off, and sometimes I don't bother. Right, so let me get the next piece together. So now that is sort of sewn. I'm going to sew the seam out in a second, but that is now sewn together. Right side to right side again. I can always do things that way. So I'm going to make sure. Now you can pin this. There's nothing saying you can't. Like I say, you could do 1/4 of an inch, 1/2 an inch. I didn't leave myself enough seam allowance, and that's why I'm doing 3/8. It's not because of any other reason. So my edges are now meeting together. See up the top I have got, so let me show you. See this? Now if I was to sew straight down, what will happen is when I go to turn that out, this line, this fabric will be out, and it'll be out by that much. But when you put it all together, you will notice. So I'm going to line that back up again. And this time I think I may use my pins. Good evening, Mrs. G, Mrs. Rian. Now I'm only going to use my pins sort of, oops, there, and I'm going to push it down. So I don't really have to move my pins when I'm sewing because they're out of the way of the machine. You don't want to be sewing over them, you'll end up breaking your machine. So I'm going to put another one in here, and I'm going to put one down the bottom just to line these edges up. Now this fabric is bigger than those two. I don't know why this is, because I did cut them the same. They shouldn't be bigger, but perhaps they are. Okay. And I am fussing, and I do apologise for me fussing. I want to make sure that I have, I'd rather have too much than too little. There. Right. Put it in there. I'm going to push this up a little bit. Okay. There and there. Right, and all I'm doing is a 3/8 inch all the way down. Yes, River is Deborah. I do beg your pardon. Yes, River is Deborah. Who else have we got? I think everybody's all right. Hi, Susan. Hello, my lovely. Are you having a lovely weekend? So all I'm doing is I'm just sewing now, straight down, but I'm going to keep in mind that my fabric, I hope you guys get to see this, my fabric is lining up with that tape. If it goes over, then my line will be like that. If it goes straight, of course, I'll have a straight line. And it's just an easy way. My hand is slipping at the minute. It's just an easy way to navigate your fabric. And if you notice, I haven't put pins down here. I've only put them here, so they're nowhere near my machine. Keep going. And I move everything now, and then just navigating it from the back as well, just to make sure that my fabric is lining up with my tape. Right, okay. So my next step is, now this is, like I say, this is the lining. Okay, so now I've got the lining to the inside of my they call it side of my sewing machine cover, but I need to sort these hems out. So in my cup, my big cup is somewhere my roller. Okay, so this is called a quilting roller. Somebody asked me the other day what this is called. I had it with my magazine, so it saves time when I can just roll it to make sure that my seams will open. If I want them to go a certain way, then I can have them to go a certain way. You see how they're opening? That means I don't have to do any ironing really. There. I've got something else as well to keep my seams flat. So, wait a second. Hi, Alona, sweetheart. Hope you're having a lovely weekend, or start to, should I say? Okay. Right. Okay. So because I want my seam to stick, I'm just going to move my machine over a little bit. And all I'm going to do, now this is heavy duty spray adhesive. This is going to help me everything to keep in one place, which means I don't have to put loads of pins in. Now, I can't remember where I got this from, but it's really good for card, paper, fabric, carpet, leather, vinyl, and much more. So you can use it on paper as well. So all I'm going to do is I am now going to spray the stuffing, which I made a little bit bigger than the lining, and then I'm going to sew it all together. Good evening, Tammy. It's quite impressive, that little roller. It is indeed. So I've pushed my machine completely across there, and I've got my lining here, and I've got my, actually let me, right, move my roller back because I need more room on my table than I'm trying to do. Right, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to go from top to bottom. So there's the what they call it. What am I using? What's it called? Batting. Safer than an iron to cut. Oh, it is, especially with me keeping it on all night. It is. It is. So, decide where you want this to be. Now, you want, what I don't want to do is this. Let me show you. Is put it right up against the edge of the batten. Because if for any reason, when you're sewing this, it's going to expand a little anyway, and what will end up happening is you'll end up being a little bit short the other side. So I always tend, and this is just a rule of little thumb that I do, I mean you might do it a little different than me, is I tend to leave at least ½ inch of a seam all the way around. Not that I'm going to go into this, but when it expanded, I know I've got enough to go the other side. So this spray is really good, and you don't have to use pins or mess about with anything like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just spray it. I'm going to open the window as well, because it is quite strong. This is a really strong adhesive. Okay, fun and games this evening. Oh my god. Oh my god, Angie, sounds like you're having a really good night. I love the wrist cuff cut. Yes, Susan, I didn't make it. Right, okay. So last year, it must have been beginning of last year, I released a challenge. I might even do another one sometime in the future, who knows. But the challenge was, and it doesn't matter if it comes around the other side, it does dry. The challenge was to make something that I could wear on my lives. And it must have been beginning of last year or middle. And as I've been sorting my room out, I came across the box of everybody's things that that they had made me. And I thought, the idea is, if you see your own creation in my life, you win something from me. It doesn't work after the live, but it does work during. So I thought, this box of everything that everybody's made me, and I'm not putting it to good use. Everybody's made me to basically wear on my live, and it's in a box. So I thought, you know what? I'm gonna start wearing them. So this isn't something that I've made. This is something that someone else has made, and hopefully she'll come in the live tonight. If not, then she doesn't. But next week then I'll wear somebody else's, until eventually somebody will come on and say, I recognize that, whatever it may be. So as you notice, I haven't put any pins in whatsoever. No pins in whatsoever. So I'm going to flip it now, the other side. And all I'm going to do now is take the front. Bearing in mind, I am 3 inches short each end, which means we're going to have to sew 3 inches before I stick it onto you. I'm going to have to sew 3 inches so it matches. So I was 3 inches short. I remember me doing it last week. So I'm going to put that to one side for now, and I'm going to concentrate on our thing that we made last week. And for this, I didn't cut anything, but I do have some pink fabric. So same pink for the inside of the lining. And I'm going to cut 2 strips to measure 3 inches. I think it was 3 inches, I'm short. So because I'm doing seam allowances as well, I'll fold this over. Now I know one side is completely straight. And I'm going to cut with my cutter and my ruler. Oh, I've been there many times. And get the life, but always manages the drama when there's a radiator involved. Well, it does sound like you're having fun in games, Mrs. Paisley. I wouldn't say the least. So, cut 1, 2, 3. I don't want to cut it at 3 because that means then I've probably wouldn't have left any seam allowance. So, I'm going to cut at 4 to be on the safe side that I've cut enough. I know that the piece I've cut out is correct. And hopefully, I should have 2 pieces measuring 4 inches wide and then however long, it doesn't matter how long that way as long as it's 4 inches, which it should be. So it's going to go at the end, so I should have 2 pieces. Like I say, I'm going to do this and I've got something else in mind too. Okay, so again with our sewing, I'm going to get some pins out. I'm just going to pop some pins on the side. This will need some seam binding. Now, seam binding, I'm not going to do on my live because it does take forever and a day to do. But I'll be cutting it at, let me think, 6 inches wide. And then the next time you see this, it'll be a whole sewing machine cover. But the seam binding will be cut 6 inches wide, and then I'll sew it on. But I won't do that on a live because, like I say, I do end up going wrong. The seam binding, I don't know what it is, but I do end up going wrong. Right, so let's sew this together. So what I'm going to do is sew this. Like I say, I've done this at 4 inches just to make sure I've left enough each side so I don't go wrong. Now we need to roll our seams out. And I do have something else just in mind for to go with the machine. I think I'll be starting tonight. And keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. Okay, so this is the first one. He is painting the ceiling tomorrow. Oh my word. Andrew, you're going to trust him to paint the ceiling? It does sound like you are having lots of fun and games. You know, you say like inspiration, that's what he's giving you, Ange. Inspiration, he didn't want you to get bored. That's what it was, see? All I'm going to do, cut this off. I'll cut it off straight even. Okay, there's my one cut. So there's, oh, well, I cut it at 4. So I've got a little bit too much, but that doesn't matter because it's on the edge. And then on this side, now this side, I've done some pockets. So all I did, you saw me do this last week, I've sewn 2 pieces of fabric, and then all I did was done 2 straight stitches down. So I've got a pocket here at the minute, pocket there, and then there'll be a pocket on the other side. So what I'm going to do is take this little strip of mine, and this should close the pockets. Close. Right, I'm going to make sure. I'm going to flick it over first of all because I can cut away the excess, then whatever the excess is. Okay, there's one. too. And I cut the excess away from here as well to make sure that we've all got it straight as can be. And cut it from here as well. And then when we put our little strip on the edge, and the reason I'm doing a strip is because I've cut it short. No, it's not because I'm doing it through a particular pattern. It's not. It's because when measuring it out, I think I was an inch short, something like that. Okay, so put it back that way. Now we've got rid of all the excess, and now I know because I have 2 pins. Yeah, subscribe to each other. That's a good point, actually. So please subscribe to each other. YouTube is such a big place. And for those that do videos, it isn't, you know, we enjoy doing them. Don't get me wrong. I love doing videos. But it's always nice to have the support of what you're making. So please subscribe to each other. I will apologize this. My notifications on YouTube, they've knocked them off again on certain channels. So I'm having to go through everybody's channel and subscribe back up, and then knock the bell back on. Because, for example, I didn't even know. I think I spoke to, was it last night I spoke to you, Angie? And you said you had done a video. And I said, no, you haven't. And she went, yeah, I put it up Wednesday. I was like, oh. I haven't had that notification, so please forgive me if you haven't seen me on your channels. It's because of that main reason. It's because YouTube has played around with the settings and I'm not getting the notifications. So if you sort of get notifications, say Country Creations have subscribed to your channel, it's because I've unsubscribed, subscribed back up, and then hit the bell. That's the only reason. I had to go back to watch the video of the cuff I made you. I've forgotten what it looked like. I know. It's really cool, the fact that I am wearing them. I'm going to be wearing them a lot more. So yes, the lady who made this hasn't come in as of yet. I am keeping my eye out though. And hopefully she'll come in soon. Good evening, Debbie, sweetheart. Am I late to the party? No, of course you're not. What would you like? Cake, tea? Party for 2. Party for 3? You're not late at all, sweetheart. Just yappering and sewing and whatever else in between. Okay, so I'm following my line of tape. And I'm just about to stop. Let's do that side. Right, okay, so take these pins out. Tea, please. I'm a tea kick lately. Oh, I don't blame you, Debbie. I love my tea. In fact, I went to the supermarket today and oh well, my brother was laughing at me because they had a huge bag of tea bags, and I mean huge. I said to Chris, once the tea bags are gone, you have to give me the bag, because I've never seen a huge bag like that before. Okay, so there's my missing thing, and now I've got my pockets. I've got my middle pocket at least. I have got my side pockets, but of course the side hasn't been sewn. So take it this side. I'm going to roll these. You can iron your seam allowances sort of out. I love the fact that you've had to go back and rewatch and see what you've made me. That's really funny. To be fair, if I had made something for somebody and they were wearing it, I would have to sort of stop and go, what have I made them? I would have to do it. Okay. Oh yes, she'd had to break. Yeah. There. Okay. All the way out. And like I say, you can iron this. You don't have to roll it. It's just because I'm on mine, I'm rolling mine out. Okay, that's one. And then take it down to the other one. And I'm going to roll this out. Let me start this side first. Okay. There we go. It's not really behaving itself. I might put some that won't stay. I'm just gonna finger press it and see if it'll stay open. Mate. There. That'll do. I've never seen one of those handy tools before. Yeah, it's a everybody asks me about this. It's a quilting seam roller, but it's called a certain something. I had it with my magazine. I'm gonna have to find the magazine in order to tell you what it is, but it's a, I can't remember what they've called it, but it is a quilted and seam roller. I think that's what it is. But I will find out. I'll dig the magazine out because it's not gone, disappeared. I'll dig the magazine out and I'll find out exactly what it's called because everybody keeps asking me about this all the time. And every time somebody asks me, I go, oh no, I can't get, yeah, I always get distracted. Right. So we have the inside of our what do you call it, sewing machine cover. I was getting there. And we have the outside. Now I'm going to use, from this type of cover, it's going to go over the side and I'm going to have sort of ties on the side. So I'm glad someone invented it, Ladies Clut, as her habit of leaving the lining. No, like I know, I do. I'm so glad I'm using it. Oh God, Rian's been come over here once and she put her coat on the ironing board. Bearing in mind, me and Rian usually meet up in the morning, and she put her coat on the ironing board. And Chris went, "Can you smell burning?" After he had made the tea and come in, I went, "No." He went, "Colette, the iron is still on," and nearly burnt Rian's coat without the ironing board on. Thank God it didn't burn. But yes, that was the story. Right, I'm going to put some ties on. This type of cover is going to go over the machine. I'm going to get have some ties. So let me get the ties that I want. I think I've got enough of this. So I want a strong tie. So it'll be this one. Okay, so I've got loads of it. Right. And I'm going to do, I think I'm going to do a double tie. So what I mean by that is have two rather than the one on the side, each side. Oh, am I getting a knot here? Where's the end? That's the end. And then this one. Come on. There. Get in there. Oh my word. There. There. Woohoo! Right, okay. So I'm going to go to determine how much I want up for my tie, knowing that this piece is the middle. I'm going to start making my tie so it fits the end of the doodah, of the, what am I trying to say? The side, so it fits the side. So I'm going to find the middle of the middle and then go down the side, and that's how I'm going to determine it. And because of the type of ribbon this is, if I cut it, it's going to shred. And I'm going to make the ends of the ribbon really pretty. So I'm going to cut it once. I'll need 4 pieces. Two. Wait a second. 3. 3. 4. Okay, so there's my tie. Hi, Lorna, sweetheart. Oh, well, we and I could have joined that. Left it on all weekend. See? Things you don't tell me. Right, I'm going to get 2 of these. Because I want my ends to look pretty, I'm going to use some of the cut-offs that we had. More cotton than anything else. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut. Fold it over. Now this is just, let me see, 2 inches. And I'm going to cut it in lengthways. I'm going to grab my piece of ribbon. And then I'm just going to fold. Probably done too much. Let me see if I can do it a bit smaller than that. So, fold the edge in, and then I'm going to fold that in there, and then that in there like so. So it covers the edge, so that will never, so I've stopped it from unraveling. And we're going to sew that together. So I'll show you again what I've done. Put a pin there. So one edge, because one edge is going to be covered anyway. Let me just, okay, fold it in once like that, and then do it at an angle each side. So you've got a point like so, and then flip it over the other side, and you see how these sides are coming out. Tab them in, tab them, tuck them in, so you have a piece. So I'm gonna share with you on my okay, I'm gonna put this in there for a second, and I need to rethread my thread because it's coming away from my needle, and then we're going to sew that, and then have the ties for sewing machine cover. Come on. Stay with me, ladies. Oh. Come on. There. There. Right. Okay, now I've got my thread. So I'm going to take this over by my machine and I'm going to sew it. So as you can see, I've now got a point. I'm going to unclip that. And I've got a straight stitch on the machine. And I'm just going to go back and forth. Once you can do it once, you can probably take it off. See, it's going to stay there. And then I'm going to do the sides of it. Just to make sure that it's not going to come undone. So for that, I've done 2. And that's not going to, even if the ribbon was twin thread, it would have to unthread the fabric first. That's where I was going with it. I'm going to take the second one and do the same to this one. Okay, and then I'm going to go down the edge again. Okay, so I've now got 2 little tabs, little pretty tabs that can go and be tied. So I need 4 of these little pretty things because in order to tie it, you need one side and one the other. So now we've done the 2, we need to do the other 2. So I'm going to cut that in half, and once we've got these, we've got them. Then I'm going to cut this in half, and I'm going to do it again. So fold it over again. Like I say, they're not going to come undone. Fold it over once and then fold it over twice till you get your point. Flip it over, and then you want to tuck these in. Tuck them in. Let me run that through. I'm going to quickly run through that on my machine. So bear with me 2 ticks while I do it. See, there's one, and then I'm going to do the other side, and then that'll be this one done. They are a bit fiddly to do. You could even hand stitch them if you wanted to. Okay, so there's the 3rd one. Like I say, we need 4 of these. There's the 3rd one, and then the 4th one. The 4th one is, I'm going to cut it out, get this thing off the rough edges. I'll show you again. Fold the top over, fold these into corners. So you fold them at like a 90-degree, and then put that down to 90 degrees. You flip it over, and then you sew these under. Like I say, they are a bit fiddly to do, but once you've done them once, you'll get the hang of it. Now spin you around. just to show it with you. There's the one stitch. I'm going to turn it again, and I'm going to do the second stitch. Okay, so we now have, let me get rid of that because we don't need that. We now have all our ties. Oh, all our ties, it's coming together. Right, there's all our ties, which is what we're going to need. So, this is the inside of the lining. Take 2 of your ties at a time and then decide where you'd like it. Now, I'm going to do it, since these are the sides, this is the top of the machine. Now, I'm going to do it, that's probably, I would say, the middle, but I don't want to sort of rough guess make it because I've got to go all the way around. So I think it is 15, half of 15 is half of 15 was half of 15, 7.5. So be there. So I'm going to take my ribbon and I'm just going to pop him on the inside of 7.5. I'm going to pop a pin there as well to make sure he's not going to go anywhere. And then I'm going to take down here and I'm going to do it again. So find 7.5 again with my little gadget. So 7.5 would be there. Take a pin and I'm going to pop it there. So that way then it's going to tie on the sides. And I'm going to do the other 2. But before I do the other 2, I'm going to sew these in first, because otherwise I'll get all confused. Just make sure that I'm not going to lose my other 2 to there. Make sure you're not losing your other 2, but just make sure you've sewn the ones. I'd rather do 2 at a time than try and do 4 at a time. So my thread at the back of my machine. And I'm going to be cutting all this excess batting off now in a second. I need to make sure and I'm going to go on a zigzag. I've done a straight stitch. I'm going to do a straight stitch again. So there's one, and I'm going to rough and tumble it down to this one, and then I'm going to put the other 2 on. So it will look, even though you're thinking, oh, okay, is she putting the ties in the right place? I am, because this is the top of the machine. Okay, get my thread away from that, and then I'm going to sew it again. Okay, so we've now done 2 ties. We've got 2 ties left to do. Spin it around. There's the first tie. Now I'm going to pin this because I'm cutting the batting away. It's just a little tip. For me, if I left it loose, I would end up cutting the ribbon away, and I know I would. So for me, I'm going to tap that in while I do the other one. So that should be 7.5, but let me have a look. 7.5 is there. So let me pin that just here. sew this on in a second. Do the other one, and then you've got your ties then to do your cover itself. And I'm going to do 7.5, and the only reason I'm doing 7.5 is because my piece, this piece, is 15 inches. Oh, thank you, Lorna, for coming in, sweetheart. Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you very much for coming in. Sorry, I'm not really speaking to you guys much. What instead of you ladies listening to me ramble on, what projects are you all working on, or what projects have you sort of worked on and you that are new to you? Anything new that you're working on this week? For me, I would say I'm working on making my own swimsuit. So for me, it's that. Right, I'm gonna pin this one in, and I'm having good fun with it, but it is taking a lot of concentration. But I did. I had a reasonable pen out last night, and I was working on my swimsuit. And as I go to tidy everything up, I noticed this erasable pen that I only marked it on the edge. I didn't go anywhere near with the pattern. Marked it on the edge of the pattern, and it went on the pattern. Oh my word, I can't get it out. It's a toffee, and it's about this big, but I know it's there, and it's really bothering me. And if you were in my group, you'll know that I asked everybody today what their thoughts was on this little mark that I've created. Right, so I'm going to do the other tie. Bring it out. Oops. Get this pen out of the way. And we finished. Right, so there's all our ties done. I'm working on a snippet roll on video tomorrow. Hope to upload it for later in the day. Oh wow, Pauline. Oh, I'd love to see that, sweetheart. Take care. Oh, bye, Susan. Thank you for popping in, sweetheart. I made a mini journal and a mini file folder for a challenge. Oh wow, Rianne. I have stuff to get rid of, Claire. Oh well. Now, what stuff are you talking about, Miss Rianne? Any like, clat stuff? Right, I'm going to pin this in the middle so I don't catch it. We're then going to cut the batting down, and then we're going to sew this bad boy together. So let me pin this. One pin, right? Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut it down. Because I haven't got one of those big, huge boards, I'm going to work with what I do have, which is my so all I'm going to do is I'm going to think I'll cut down 2 sides, and then the other 2 sides that I haven't cut will as long as I've got some sides to go off to put the outer edge on, that'll be fine. Now get rid of the mark on your bathers. I know. I tried everything. I tried varnish. At the moment I bought this stain stuff, and it's about yay small. And when I posted it up in the group, I said, do I cut another piece off, or shall I stick with the same thing, or what? And everybody said, what mark? Nobody could see it. And then when I actually pointed it out, nobody said I couldn't see it. Said till you pointed it out to me, I couldn't see it. I was like, oh, maybe it's me then. Right, okay, so I have cut my lining. This is my outer fabric. Now I've got this corner. I haven't cut all the batten away, but I do have this corner. Now I'm going to move you quite a bit, so I do apologise if I make you a bit seasick. And I'm going to line this corner up with corner of my, that sounds about right. Okay, move it around. Okay, so should have middle versus the middle. Yeah, we do have middle versus the middle. And the same applies. The same thing I'm going to do with what I did on the outside. So I'm going to use my spray to keep it in place while I sew it. So since I've got it in one, I have something that I'll get rid of. One of those ribbons got cut. Did you catch it? I hope not. Good spotting. Yes, I did catch it. Oh, good spotting. That was good spotting, Debbie. I would never. I'm glad you said that. Look at that. I did catch it. Look. That was good spotting. I would never have. Well, eyes like spuds, as my mum would say. Has anybody ever used that term before? When you go to a supermarket and you're looking for a car parking spot, my mum will always say eyes like spuds, which means eyes like spuds. That was really good spotting. Thank you so much, sweetheart. I would never. Well. Let me hold that back up. Thank you, sweetheart. You know, sometimes I do things and I think, nah, perhaps it's me. I'd never have. I'm so glad you said something. There. Thank you so much. Right. Let me try this again. Pop that there. Okay. Pin these in place. Well. Okay. Right, I'm going to match these corners up. Make sure everything is how you want it to be. Right. Too hot for tea. Today is 88. Oh my word, 88 degrees. Eyes like a potato spud. Yeah, that's what it means. Wow. So where are you all watching me from? And what time is it? 101 here in New Mexico. Oh my word, I'd melt. I like the sun, but I think I would melt. I think I would melt. For sure. Like I say, this does dry, so I'm not bothered by getting wet. Okay, so flatten this side down. Okay. Chase it up there a little bit. Like I say, I know I've done this a little bit longer, but not entirely. Just checking those ribbons now to make sure I haven't cut them. down. Right, as you'll see, I've used no pins whatsoever. So here comes the fun bit. Now, it's totally up to you whether you want to use pins at this stage or whether you want to keep it to just sewing. For me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew 2 sides. I might possibly sew 4, but we'll see how we go. Because I do have something else to share with you as well. So we'll sew this and see what we go for time. But I am keeping an eye on the comments. Now, I am going to go in. I'm going to go in and I'm going to mark it to the edge of my foot. So I'm not ignoring the tape. I'm going to go to the edge of my foot. And I'm just going to keep going until I've sewn all the way around. Now this will need batting, of course it will. And I have sewn miles away from the band. It doesn't matter because it's going to have batten on. Batten, bunting, no, not bunting, what's it called? Oh, the thing that goes around the edges, I can't think what it's called. Okay. Okay, and you keep going all the way around. Now the other thing I'm going to make to go along with this is my thing to go on the pedal. Move the ribbon out the way one side. Keep going because I know I can see the short side thing. See the short side of the fabric. Now you can see why I done 4 inches instead of 3, because I knew I would need the extra room. And where's that? Let me just move it out of the way. Keep going and going and going until you reach your 4 sides. because I want the ribbon to be on the edge. I have sewn in on the side, marvelous. Right. Last edge, last corner, you can right. Okay, so a couple of things I've done is when I was sewing, I've sewn the tie to the stitches, and all it takes is for you to undo a couple of stitches, pull it, and then I'm going to obviously stitch that side. I'm going to cut where that ribbon is, so I know that when I'm cutting I'm going to leave that. And what I might do is pull it back in and sew it like that. When the edging goes on, I'm not going to really see that. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to stitch from here to here, which will take me a matter of minutes to do. I'm going to read some comments in a second now. Right, and then this I'm going to fold back, because if I cut it now I will have cut the thing, so I'm going to fold back till it matches that fabric on the outside, which I'm going to okay, so there's my ribbon for there, and let me just check all the other ribbons are fine. That one fine, yep, that one's fine, and this one, that one's fine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut the rest of the bunting off. I'm going to use a scissors, I think, to do this first. I'm going to cut my little scissors here. Where's my ruler? Right, I asked you all where you were all from. Do you know what? I haven't read any of the comments, so I apologise. Lincolnshire, about 9 miles from Kings Lynn. Oh, I know where Lincolnshire is, Pauline. I think me and Chris have been there, to be fair. Lincolnshire, that's just, am I thinking right to say, oh, do you know what? I'm not going to even bother saying it because my geography is crap. So, it's on the east, Chris is saying. We got 2 air conditionings, a fan all over the house. Good thing I just paid an electric bill. Oh my word, Susan, honestly. Where else did you all say you were from? Winston, and it's 4:10, Susan says. Oh wow. Temperature here, where Claire I live is 70. Shut your face, Miss Riel. I know where you're from. It's 10 minutes down the road. I tell you what, Rian, is it warm where you are? Is it nice and warm? Because if it is, can you send it over 10 minutes down the road? Can you send it 10 minutes down the road? Where else? Who else said? 101 year in New Mexico. Wow. It's 3 p.m. in New Mexico. What is the temperature where you are, Claire? Oh, God. What is the temperature? I don't know. It's... Miss Rian, what's the temperature? Rian lives about 10 minutes away from me, so she'll be able to tell you the temperature. It's freezing. We've had really crap weather. We don't have... Oh, man. Oh, there we are. Chris has decided 70 degrees. I think it's colder than that, to be fair. Now I'm keeping an eye on my ribbon. I'm pulling it back just to make sure that I don't cut into it this time. I'm going to pull it all the way down. I think I've missed it here, but it doesn't matter because when I put I keep wanting to say bunting, but it's not bunting. What is it? What am I thinking of? The thing that you wrap over the edges. Anybody know what I'm thinking of? Someone say it. I bet you all know what I'm thinking. I can't think. I want to say bunting, but I know it's not bunting. We've had some crap weather today. We had fog. It's been warm rain. It's been horrible. What's the thing that goes around the edges when you're making quilting? Can anybody tell me? I can't think what it's called. Otherwise, seam binding? No, I don't know. I can't remember. Batten? No. You fold it over the edges. It's like ribbon, but you would fold it sort of like that. But I can't think what you would. Binding. Thank you, Dawn. Right, I'm going to keep an eye on that. I'm not going to cut too much away because of where my ribbon is. And then I'm going to cut down here. Just going to put this as a ribbon. Cut all this off. I'm going to move it that way again. So this is now, hope you can see the fact I've turned it into a machine cover. I'm going to show you how it works as well. This isn't the only thing I'm going to make. I'll probably cut the shape out for the other thing tonight, and then you'll see me sort of put it together next week. Wait a second. Okay, so we now have, without the binder, we have now have now our machine cover. So I'm going to show you how it would work. So there's my machine. You have to forgive the mess. And it works. You go over. Now this isn't for my machine. This is for Sarah. Me and Sarah decided to make each other a sewing machine cover. So this is why it doesn't fit my machine. However, let me move all this because it's driving me nuts. Every time I want to pick the thing up, I'm picking all this up. Right, so she would then tie it with the ties on the side, and this was inspired by Debbie Shaw. Debbie did a video and I was really inspired, and you know these lines, they'll come up when I iron it, so I will iron this whole flat. But I've got some seam binding work to do, which I won't do on live because I'll bore you half to death. But that is now the machine cover made, and then this is the back, and this gives us pockets. You've got a pocket there, you've got a pocket there, and I've also got a pocket here. Now I have missed some of the stitching, but that's going to be stitched when I put the binding on. So that is the machine cover. Now what I'm going to make to go alongside this is, Sarah and I I own it. I own a manual machine. I used to do all my sewing on there, and with any manual machine, you'll all know that it takes a pedal to get it working. So what I'm going to make is for the pedal to have some sort of it so that it doesn't slip away, because I found every time I pressed it, it would slip and slip and slip and slip. So we're going to make something that stops it slipping. So I have my fabric. I haven't cut any of this pre-hand, so you have to bear with me. We're going to do all the cutting, some of the cutting tonight, and we'll do most of it next week. And I have one of these. Now this is, I think it's called a grip slip or a grip something. And it's basically you can use it for several things. It's basically sold to put under keyboards, so it stops the keyboard from moving. Or you can put it into your mouse, not necessarily your mouse because you need to move. Maybe in a car, and you would put it on your dash. That's what my grandpa used to use it for, to put his money on, so the money doesn't rattle. It will stay in one place. Sometimes they're used in cars to put the cups on or anything like that. I can't remember what it's called exactly, but we're going to use this to make a cover for this. So what we need to do now, Sarah has no idea I'm making one of these, but all pedals are pretty much the same size. I'm going to use this to match my machine cover for the top, which I have cut to size. So the only thing I haven't cut is the grip slip and the other little thing that I've got. So we have, now mine measures, if you're doing it for a manual machine, mine measures 2, 4, 6 inches by 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 6 by 9 inches, and I've got one long piece. So that will fit exactly there. Now that's the perfect size because it gives enough fabric each end. But we need something at the top, because what will end up happening if I put the fabric straight on this grip slip or whatever you want to call it, it's just fabric on fabric on this, and the pedal, it will move, it won't move underneath, but what it might do is now move on top. So we're going to make something so that it's not going to move on top, a bit like a strap of some sort. So I have some of my fabric that I've been, and this is just cut-offs from the main cover itself, and me too constantly chasing it across the floor. Exactly, that's what happens to me with the foot pull. Exactly. So this is why I wanted to make something not only to go with the machine, but to help Sarah sew. So I've got a piece of pink fabric here that's about 1.5 inches a bit bigger than my main piece, because as you can see it is. So what I need to do, I'm going to fold it over, fold it in half, and we're going to fill it with the stuffing. Now I've got this type of stuffing, so what I'm going to do is to fill this, I'm just going to roll, get a straight edge a minute. Like I say, some of these will be cut tonight. I'm just going to roll till I get enough stuffing that I'm sort of happy and content with. I think one more roll. Right, and you can use anything for this. It doesn't have to be what I'm using. There. So I'm going to cut that. Like I say, this will be made next week, but I'll do all the cutting tonight. Oops. Okay, so there's my first cut. Now I'm going to make sure I've got a straight edge here. Now I've rolled it quite a few times just to get it going, and the thickness I want as well. Right, so as you can see, it's rolled up like a stuffed ball. So what we're going to do, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the center, and then I'm going to roll it to there. So I'm going to sew, just on top. Now that will cause it to be flat. I want to make sure that I'm not sewing on directly on the top. but I'm just sewing my two ends together. Now you can use clips for this, you can use pins, you can use anything you want to use, basically. So I'm going to sew this, and then, like I say, how I construct it, well, I'll construct it back next week. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew right to the edge, even though that roll isn't to the edge. I need to make sure that my stitches are combined. If I just sewed it like that, what'll end up happening is I'll have a line of stitching here, and then I'll sort of have like two balls, but I don't want that, I want one. So I've gathered my two pink ends together. I'm going to do a straight stitch all the way down. My roll, my stuffed roll, is inside, that isn't going anywhere. And then I'm going to show you what it would look like. And like I say, these you can buy out the pound shop, or you can buy on eBay, you can buy anywhere. I cannot for the life of me remember what they're called, but they're basically for keyboards. When I come back next week, I'll find out what exactly they're called, and that way then, if you wanted to make one, you know what they're called. Okay, I'm just going to help my machine. Okay, so now I have my stuffed ball. See? So I will come back next week and show you what this is called, but I cannot remember what it's actually called. So you're making a foot pedal stop pad. Yeah, if you want to call it that. I would have called it a cover for a foot pedal, but yeah, a foot pedal stop pad, because it's going to stop this sliding across the floor. Because for me, when I was using my manual machine, and still I use it, even though I got this electric one, I do go back to using it. I'm like, oh, I forget why I use the electric one now, because you do end up chasing it. So yes, Deborah, we're going to call it that, a foot pedal stop pad. And like I say, we will construct it next week, and I'll find out exactly what this is called, but you can buy it from the pound shop. It's used for different things, but keyboards in cars is mainly what it's used for. So I've got my fabric that I want. I've got my little pad that's going to go there. So this is not going to go sliding across, and we're going to sew it so it doesn't slide across too. Can you see? It's not going to go anywhere by the time we're finished with it. Now, it's totally up to you. I just had a thought. It's totally up to you how you construct this. But I think... No. I was going to roll it around. But it's totally up to you how you construct it. So what I'm going to do is show you how it would be. And then I'm going to come back next week and sew it all together and show you how I'm going to put it together, because we're going to need to sew this to the fabric. Yes, I can use that spray and it would work, but it would only work for a set period of time. It ain't going to stay there if I keep the spray there. So we're going to sew this to the fabric. We're going to have that cushion to stop it moving, so it's not going to go anywhere. And it's going to really going to need a good push in order to move that. The other thing you could put in, and I've just thought what I might put in, is some rice or some weights in the roll to make sure that this is weighed down. It's not going to go anywhere. But like I say, I will come back next week and show you how I construct it. They usually use a grip liner. Like I say, when I come back next week, I'll tell you what this is called. You can buy it in a big sheet and cut it down. That's the nicest thing about it. You can cut it down. It is meant to be cut down. Let me get a scissors and show you what I mean. I don't want to cut too much because we won't have enough for our pedal, but it's meant, you can sort of see how easy it is to cut. And it's meant to do that because the idea is you can cut it to whatever you want to cut it. I bought mine from the pound shop. There are places online that you can buy them from, eBay, Amazon, I've seen them on. But just look around because they aren't expensive, but some people will sell them a lot of money. It's just like inks and old stuff like that. But yes, the pound store or like the dollar store, you guys overseas, have a look for them. They're run by the computers or car stuff mainly, and you will find it. And like I say, when I come back next week, I will let you know exactly what it's called, and we'll construct our thing to stop the pedal from moving when we're sewing. I really do hope you've enjoyed tonight's live. I've had so much fun. We have now got a cushion cover. It is a cushion cover. We now got a sewing cover for the sewing machine. When you come back next week, all this will be sort of binded and it'll all be complete, and then you'll be able to do it. Before you go, as you'll notice, I would have been wearing this, and a lot of you commented on it to say how pretty it was. It was actually the lovely Laurel. Laurel made me this last year even. My words are getting mixed up now. Laurel made me this last year, and I've had so much fun wearing it. It's super soft on the skin, and it is a button clasp. So next week I will be wearing somebody else's bracelet, and like I say, you've got to be in the live to be able to win a little prize. And for those that weren't able to join in last year, if you want to join in this year and construct a bracelet, by all means do so. And who knows, I might be wearing yours in the live. So I'll keep it open, this challenge open. So if you would like to make one, of course you can. There is no set date or anything like that. I'll leave that totally up to you. And like I say, whoever's bracelet I wear in the live will win a lucky little something and a gift from me. And next week I'll be wearing someone else's. So thank you everybody for watching tonight's live. Like I say, if you spot me wearing your bracelet in the lives, you have to be in the live in order to win it. Doesn't count after. But thank you all for coming in. Thank you all for joining. Thank you all for the lovely comments. Sorry I wasn't able to read all of them, but I will go back and read them. Please subscribe to each other if you haven't done so already. There are some amazing talented ladies on YouTube, and it's such a big place. And if we can support each other, then our crafting mind will explore. So I will love and leave you all to next week, where we'll construct a pedal stop pusher. I think that's what the lovely Deborah called it. And I will see you all then. Have a lovely rest of the week wherever you are in the world, and I will speak to you all then. Bye for now, ladies. Good night. Bye.